Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Absolutely huge weekend of recruiting coming up for Tennessee. Their annual Memorial Day 865 live recruiting event. And I think more than anything, you're gonna have your quarterback in town. 5-star quarterback George McIntyre, already committed to Tennessee. He's gonna be in town doing a little peer recruiting. Now, VolQuest put out this morning that he wasn't supposed to be in town. He was staying in Mobile, Alabama for training, but instead he is gonna fly into Knoxville and he is gonna continue to build relationships. Some of the guys that are going to be on campus with him: 5-star wide receiver Jamie French, 6'1", 185 out of Jacksonville, Florida. You know, at one point put out his top 3 just recently. Tennessee wasn't included. Felt like they were starting to fade, but look, this is a big boy battle. Jamie French committed to Alabama at one time, once trended to Ohio State. Now Texas has all the buzz, but he's got a solid relationship with George. He's going to be here this weekend, and George is going to have an opportunity to work on him. 4-star safety Shady Hayward's going to be in town. He's regularly called Tennessee the leader in his recruitment. He calls himself the best safety in the country. We've actually had him on this channel before. He loves himself some Tennessee, so he's going to be in town. Also a guy that I've been talking about recently, 4-star interior offensive lineman Nick Moore. He's out of Jefferson County, in-state target. Tennessee just recently offered. They're picking up some steam there. Made a video on him earlier this week. Go back, check that out. Also, we did a live film breakdown on Wednesday. One of the guys we talked about was 3-star running back Shakai Mills-Knight. He's a guy that a lot of people feel is underrated. He's going to be in town. If you missed that live film breakdown, go back and check it out. But the headliner, the guy that everybody's been talking about for the last 24 hours, that is 5-star offensive tackle David Sanders, is going to be back in town. Number 1 offensive tackle in the country. Number 2 overall player. Is Tennessee starting to trend for David Sanders? I feel like they're out front. Look, that's just one man's opinion. I'm a fan just like you guys. I got no inside scoop, no source. It just feels like Tennessee is the constant. At one point, it was Tennessee and Clemson. Then it was Tennessee and Ohio State. Again, another big boy battle, but the one constant always seems to be that Tennessee is in it for David Sanders. And I think, you know, a lot of us fans are going to put the success or the failure of this class of 2025 on whether or not Josh Heupel and Glenn Ellerbe can land David Sanders. And yeah, we've already got a 5-star quarterback in George McIntyre, but we talk about protecting the quarterback. We talk about the lack of depth on the offensive line, but you got to remember, Lance Hurd is only a sophomore. So you bring in David Sanders, you got 2 bookend 5-star offensive tackles. You look at those guys in the last cycle, right? Gage Ginther, you got Max Anderson, William Satterwhite. You're starting to build some depth, but I feel like a lot of people are putting the success or the failure on the class of 25 on David Sanders. But Steve Wiltfong put out a recent clip on Twitter. We're going to go take a look in just a second, but it does sound like Tennessee could be the team to beat for David Sanders. We're going to talk about it, but as always, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff, right? It's so quick and easy. Just hit the thumbs up. Take 2 seconds right below the video. Hit that thumbs up. I would appreciate it. If it's your first time on the channel, welcome. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't talk at you. We talk with you. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Got a fun one tonight. We're going to be live at 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Tennessee's most recent commit, Anthony Agamoro, is going to be on the show. He's got an interesting story. He's only played football for 2 years. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. Can't wait to chat with him tonight. So make sure you guys come back 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight for that. But let's talk about David Sanders. If you don't know who he is, if you've been sleeping under a rock, you don't follow recruiting. Again, you see the profile on the screen, 5-star plus. That means he's a 5-star across the board. On 3, 247 Sports, Rivals, and ESPN, the number 1 offensive tackle in the country, number 2 ranked player overall. Huge prospect for Tennessee. I'm going to run through the scouting report. Haven't done this in a while for David Sanders. So again, if you're new to recruiting, you're following this. This is from Andrew Ivins, the director of scouting over at 247 Sports. Scouting report on the 5-star offensive tackle. Says an athletic offensive tackle prospect with an extremely high ceiling given measurables and movement patterns, over 6'5" and equipped with arms that stretch over 36 inches. Says he's on the lighter side now, but has plenty of time to add mass and has already posted impressive markers in the weight room for a youngster, as he can power clean 335. Very nimble for someone with such long limbs. He can quickly set up for battle and then refortify if needed. Might own a wiry frame now, but has surprisingly strong punch and understands how to find leverage before unlocking his hips and trying to displace pass rushers with his explosive lower half. It goes on to say here, carved out a starting role as a ninth grader before freshman campaign was derailed by a femur injury. However, he rebounded in a big way as a sophomore and anchored the left side of the line for Providence Day, a program that won its first state title in 10 years. Goes on to say he must keep progressing and continue to fill out, but should be viewed as one of the top corner protectors in the 2025 cycle. Likely going to need some time to get adjusted to the speed of big-time college football, but has the skill set to emerge as a multi-year starter as the left tackle for a contender. Top 32 upside given his reach and testing profile. Now, Steve Wiltfong recently put out an update. Of course, it came out, the news that David Sanders was going to be back in town this weekend for the 865 Live event. That's huge. You go back to the spring, and he came in back-to-back weekends, back-to-back Saturdays. He came in for the spring game. He missed Clemson's spring game in that process. So this will be his third unofficial visit within just a matter of weeks, and then he still got the official visit scheduled to come up on June the 14th. So it's big just to get him back on campus, get him back around George, continue to work that relationship. Everybody wants to say, oh, he's just going to go wherever somebody pays him the most money. That's not the case. Sometimes there's more to it than that. Sometimes guys are looking for the right fit, the culture, the family. That's what's important to David Sanders and the people around him. Let's go take a listen to what Steve Wiltfong had to say on Twitter yesterday. This is a tweet from Josh Newberg. Let's take a listen.
You just confirmed and reported just moments ago a huge name that's going to be in Knoxville. Tell us about it.
Yeah, the On3 Industries #1 ranked offensive tackle, 5-star plus, David Sanders Jr. out of Charlotte, Providence Day, will be back in Knoxville for a third time this calendar year. Tennessee is one of the programs that we have trending up in this recruitment. He has a top 6 of Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, South Carolina, and Tennessee.
Tennessee trending up, he says. Now, I guess it was about a week ago, maybe a little longer. He was coming off of a visit from Ohio State, and he was riding that visit high. Steve Wiltfong put out, could Ohio State be the team to beat? You look at guys like Austin Price, Matt Ray. Again, when we're talking about, we're all fans. We are speculating. We're trying to read between the lines. We're trying to figure out what a high school kid, what decision he's going to make. We've all got our sources, whether it's Steve Wiltfong, Chad Simmons, AP, Matt Ray, Go Vols 247, wherever you get your news, and then we come here and talk about it. I felt like, based on what I read, Tennessee never left that top spot. Again, Tennessee's been the constant. That's the way I am looking at this, is Ohio State and Tennessee, Clemson and Tennessee, Georgia and Tennessee. Tennessee has always been the constant. Let's hear more from Steve Wiltfong as he says Tennessee is starting to trend back towards the top.
But we think the Vols are closer to the top of that list. He's also slated to come back for his official visit the weekend of June 14th. This is going to be an opportunity for him to get around the staff in a laid-back atmosphere and also get around a lot of Tennessee's verbal commits. The Vols come into the weekend with the nation's number 14 recruiting class right now. That includes 5-star quarterback George McIntyre, and him and David Sanders have already hit it off. But it'll be a fun time, a great atmosphere.
George McIntyre, David Sanders already hit it off. I've talked about this a lot when we're talking about George McIntyre and being a leader and being a peer recruiter. Similar to Nico. Nico was flying in from the West Coast every time there was a big recruiting visit, every time there was a big recruiting weekend. Nico was here to peer recruit. George has done the same. What I love about George and his relationships, again, beating a dead horse, I've said it before, but George was never recruiting for Tennessee. George was recruiting for teammates. George took visits to Georgia, to Alabama, to all these different schools with David Sanders, and he was always recruiting, let's play together. It was never, let's play at Georgia, let's play at Alabama, let's play at Tennessee. It was, let's play together. They built that relationship. Now George is in the boat. George is committed to Tennessee. Now it's come play with me at Tennessee. George McIntyre playing chess, everybody else playing checkers. Big opportunity this weekend to continue to peer recruit on David Sanders.
Atmosphere, and then he'll be back for his official visit as he continues to work his way through the process. Tennessee is certainly one of the programs to watch for David Sanders.
Yeah, really exciting visit this weekend. I saw George McIntyre taking to Twitter yesterday, kind of putting the eyeball emojis out with the David Sanders rumors coming to campus. I kind of feel like if this was a basketball game and we're heading into halftime, because David Sanders recruitment is the official visits that take place this summer is going to be like a whole nother recruiting season for him. So if we were heading into halftime of a basketball game, am I crazy to feel like Tennessee might be maybe emerging as the favorite?
I would not be surprised if he ended up wearing the checkered orange on the next level.
I would not be surprised if he ended up wearing the checkered orange at the next level. Is Tennessee trending for the number one offensive tackle in the country? You saw there on the screen, going to take an official visit to Clemson on May the 31st, Georgia on June the 7th, Tennessee on June the 14th, and then one final trip will be to Alabama, wrapping up his official visits. What do you think? Jump into the comment section. Let's talk about it. As always, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the Talkin Vols merchandise. There is a link in the description below. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin Vols. We appreciate any and all support there. Also, shout out to the members of the channel. If you like the videos, the live streams, the community aspect, whatever it is you like about this channel, think about hitting that join button. You can do that for just $1 a month. You get custom Talkin Vols emojis, access to fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits. But more importantly, you are supporting the Talkin Vols Network, and we are grateful for that. That is going to do it for this one. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you guys have a great Friday. Hope to see you tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Talkin Vols Live. But this is the Talkin Vols Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.